Entrepreneurship is different. When you are an entrepreneur, you take risk every day. You have to innovate every day. You have to find solutions. You have to create. And basically, you're never settled. You're always hungry. And I think we don't have that mindset yet.
Welcome to another episode of Startup Stories. We're having a beautiful spring day. The sunshine is out and there is blue sky. This is the monthly event that aims to motivate and challenge you through inspiring stories from entrepreneurs themselves. We chat with them about their journey, challenges, and experiences. My name is Rachel and I'm the host of Startup Stories. Today we're hosted by EEBIC in the heart of Brussels. We're joined by a live audience from whom we'll be taking questions at the end. And for the people following online, streaming live on Facebook, ask any questions during our chat and we'll address them at the end. So I've got three very special people sitting next to me. I'm joined by Sana Afouaiz. Did I pronounce that all right? Founder and CEO of Womenpreneur. Sana is a recognized authority on gender issues, a champion for women, and a public speaker on feminism and women's issues. She wrote the book Invisible Women of the Middle East and has spoken at universities, panels, and international gatherings in 50 different countries. She has received numerous awards for her work, including the Ashoka Changemaker Award, and has been recognized by organizations such as the World Bank and Adecco Group. In 2016, she founded Womenpreneur Initiative, which aims to promote women's participation in entrepreneurship, technology, innovation, and society. Since then, the organization has trained 16,000 women in the MENA region and Belgium. Sana has advised... Oh, wow, 19,000. She has advised the United Nations, the European Commission, and various corporate institutions on gender issues, and is a co-founder of Womenpreneur, a global movement that challenges gender beliefs and myths. Sana uses her platform to empower women through storytelling, social campaigns, sharing tools. Sana's efforts help thousands of women by increasing their exposure, social influence, and access to resources within the ecosystem. She has organized several campaigns, including one to reform Moroccan law that allowed rapists to marry their victims. Sana has been featured in various media newspapers such as in the Huffington Post, Divix, and El País. Welcome, Sana. What an introduction. It's a true honor. Thank you for being here. I'm also joined by Florian Etienne and Rudy Gardiole, co-founders of Fika. Fika is a Belgian startup that makes workplaces healthier and more sustainable. Fika sells a wide variety of items such as cereal, cakes in various flavors, energy bars with quinoa or dried fruits, oatmeal biscuits, and so on, all organic without any additives, extra sugar, preservatives. The company began in Brussels in May 2021. But has developed swiftly to become a true conqueror. After barely 6 months, they chose to take on a new challenge by expanding their business to Luxembourg, and the north of France is now also an important part of their market. Welcome both. So let's get to know you a little bit more. Sana, can you start off by telling us a little bit more about Womenpreneur, what you do, for who specifically?
Hi, everyone. So after the long introduction, I will speak briefly about what we do at Womenpreneur, focusing more on our work. I established Womenpreneur in 2016. I chose Brussels as a destination. People keep asking me why Brussels, and I keep teasing them. It's because of the waffles and the fries. But obviously, Brussels is such an international city, and also it's very strategic for our work. We are in the heart of Europe because we do a lot of lobbying for women's rights in terms of access to economy and digital. So it was the perfect destination. But before establishing Womenpreneur, it took me years to understand the realities, the different realities of women in different countries. I had the chance to work as consultant for international organizations before establishing Womenpreneur, and I had the opportunity to travel to so many countries just to understand what is the best way to empower women. So obviously, I tried to support women through political participation, civic engagement, lobbying, and then you realize that there are certain places where changing mindset would take time, and you need to start somewhere. And that's where I realized that economic empowerment could be the basis of a kind of a more in-depth empowerment, specifically in the region that I'm targeting, which is the Middle East, North Africa. So I decided to come to Brussels to establish Womenpreneur with the objective of equipping women with the skills they need in order for them to find a job in digital field or to establish a business in innovative sectors. So I came to Brussels and I was very, very shocked. And also very surprised by the realities of women in Belgium as well. You would think that there is so much work to be done in the East, but there is so much work to be done here as well. So I tried to understand the realities of women in Belgium here as well. And I was like, oh my God, there are so many similarities with women in the MENA region. So I decided to tackle, it became a challenge to work in both sides, Belgium and the MENA region. So far we are active in 23 countries, Belgium included. We have supported and trained 19,000 women. We work in two levels, entrepreneurship and digital. So when it comes to digital education, we have specific trainings like training women to repair phones and tablets. This is one of our main programs. We have also programs on training women in web jobs, so everything related to web development, application, graphic design, and social media. And we have a training on virtual reality and artificial intelligence. And then for entrepreneurship, what we do is basically incubation programs where we support women who have tech or innovative business idea. They come to us, we support them from the beginning till the end. And basically, we also have worked on entrepreneurship for so long now, 6 years. So I'm very proud to announce that Womenpreneur, it has been working for a year now to launch the first e-shop for women in Belgium. So you can find any type of product and any type of service in the platform that is created by women, because we do believe that this is a great way to support women is to buy from women. And what we do also in terms of entrepreneurship is markets. So we organize markets for female markets where you have all vendors who are women. They expose their products in the most vibrant neighborhoods in Belgium, and basically they sell. So our work in terms of entrepreneurship has been shifted, especially with COVID. And we realized that there are a lot of trainings out there. There are a lot of platforms. There are a lot of circles, a lot of events. So women entrepreneurs today, what they need is money, obviously. So we shifted our activities to make sure that whatever we do is to bring visibility to women, and with that to bring money to women. So this is what we do. And Womenpreneur is growing, and we are now also working in the Mediterranean region, bringing women CEO of tech companies from the south and the north to meet once a year in Madrid. And basically, the objective is to create these B2B opportunities between east and the south and north of the Mediterranean, and also make sure that women can make business deals together. So this is Womenpreneur.
Nice, exciting. Can you give an example? I'm really curious of similar challenges that you're seeing with Belgian women entrepreneurs and in the Middle East that you say that was surprising.
Yeah, so the Middle East, the MENA region, has the highest number of women studying STEM in the world. Okay, Belgium has one of the lowest. Although we have all the access here. I mean, there is nothing that would forbid women to go and study STEM. But however, there is this kind of difference. And I'm like, why? How come? So that's one. Second, because in the MENA region we have a lot of challenges, we have a lot of crises, starting from the Arab Spring with the political instability, the economic inflation. I mean, now Egypt and Lebanon, they are like really seriously in serious economic situation. So the challenges don't stop in the region. You have a challenge every day, and that's what creates the best entrepreneurs. If you look into the most successful entrepreneurs out there, they are those who come from, serious unstable crisis. I was in Lebanon. We had a project there just recently, and as you all know, Lebanon is going through a lot of hard time at the moment. And I met a very, very smart, brilliant entrepreneur who was not working before the crisis. And then when the inflation happened, so now in Lebanon, everything is happening. I mean, the economy is cash economy. So, you need to have fresh dollars in cash. The bank system is not working. And then he was like, okay, what can I do? Then he went and he bought, these machines where you can count the money. Because now everything is in cash. So people need to make sure that, they are counting their money. And then he bought some machines, and then within one day, it was sold. That has helped him to actually buy more machines. And now you can go in Beirut, you will find like these big ads of his company that he created within the crisis. So this is some of very kind of, inspiring, I would say, examples of entrepreneurs that I found more in the region. Because here in Belgium, I think the system is providing you with everything. So it's easy for you to establish a business. We do have challenges, especially with the taxes. It's very high here in Belgium. However, you don't have the same challenges as in the region. I mean, like launching a crowdfunding campaign is easy here in Belgium. The legislation is very clear. Tomorrow you want to establish a business, you don't want to go through the hassle of getting an investor or getting a loan from the bank. You can just use one of those crowdfunding platforms and then raise money. In Tunisia, in Morocco, in Jordan, in other countries, it is illegal to run a crowdfunding campaign because there is no legislation for that. So the ecosystem in the region has become very kind of vibrant and very supportive because of the lack of the structured support to entrepreneurs. But here it's the opposite. You have the structured support. You have the institutions who are here that are available to support entrepreneurs. But I feel like there is this missing kind of solidarity between entrepreneurs. And I think that's what's also make our work like very rich at Womenpreneur, because we do travel a lot to the region and we come very inspired to actually bring that spirit to Belgium, and it's working. Womenpreneur today is one of the very few organizations in Belgium that can bring all these diverse entrepreneurs. I mean, if you come to one of our trainings, you will see everyone, all different colors, all different cultures. And women have this kind of, more, I would say, sense of solidarity and support. So it was easy for us to kind of build on that mindset. And today, when one of our entrepreneurs launched a product, all the community would go and buy from her and support her. And this is basically the kind of spirit that we are building here in Belgium. So I went from challenges to spirit to mindset.
No, it's very inspiring. Thank you very much. Florian, I'm really interested. Can you tell us a little bit about your journey and how it's led to where you are today?
Yes, so I'm 31 years old. I actually studied journalism and communication, but my first job was in sales, and that's where I discovered a part of myself that was really into business. And with that brought me to work in several startups in Belgium, and where you work in a fast-growing environment, then you're used to learn quicker. Basically, you need to learn quick and sometimes with the wrong tools. So when we started Fika 2 years ago already, it was, I think, easier when you have the idea, and then you can just start like this with what you learned before. So we launched Fika in 2021 during the first confinement we had in Brussels, and we thought it was the right time to start helping companies having a healthier lifestyle at the office. Meanwhile, increasing the well-being at work. So that was the idea behind the mission, and today we're already on 3 countries, as you said. We're delivering more of 100 companies on a monthly basis. So everything is doing right at the moment, and we see that people and companies are changing their mindset at the office, and we're just part of it.
Seeing a similar thing to what Sana was saying, that actually the idea came out from a difficult situation, being in confinement, and so interesting. And Rudy, how's it been for you, your journey?
Yes, it's not the same as Florian. We are friends, but not at all the same story. So I'm 32. I was consultant for big companies, like big four companies in business performance for big clients like public companies and so on and so on. So like thousands of employees and stuff like that. And during the COVID, I had a kid also. It changed, a bit your mind. Not a bit, it changed a lot in your life, to be honest. And I was, okay, I have two options in my life. Either I go and I climb the career ladder, in my firm. It's possible. I was good enough, but, or you build your own story. And with your own culture, your own people, your friend, associate, your own challenges. And I was, okay, what do I do now? So we had a lot of discussion with my wife, and then, okay, maybe the easy path, you earn money, you're a great employee, director, partners, that's the dream for many people. I think that's, you can do it, that's valuable also. You will realize yourself, make money. I mean, I can understand, but I want change in my life. I want to build my story. So I joined Fika 6 months after the launch, because Florian do the POC, let's say, for the first month. And around the beer, we were, okay, I remember him telling me, okay, I think I have something that works, I can sell it. And I was, okay, maybe there's an opportunity. And I kept thinking. One day I said, okay, do you need an associate? He said, okay, I'm good at sales, marketing, branding stuff, but I need someone just to manage the business, the operation. And okay, take the risk and do it, and we will see, because also the problem when you're in a big company, that's really cool, because you had a lot of stuff, a lot of rewards, company curls, money, and so on and so on, but you're still under your bosses. I mean, so they decide what you do, but also the behavior you have, and when you climb the career ladder in that kind of company, it gets political also a bit, and I was not in line with that. So yes, I joined Fika, and then we co-founded. Then a few months later, Fika established it at Sahel officially, and now I'm here.
Oh, thank you. And Florian, where did the idea originally come from then for Fika specifically?
Let's talk about the name first, maybe Fika. It's coming from Sweden. It's like the tea time in England. So basically, it's a moment that you share with friends, with colleagues, to get a coffee or to get something to bite. So it's coming from that for the name and the idea. Actually, I was 2 months during the first confinement we had in Brussels. I was working in a company that was proposing rental companies, rental cars. So there was no trips anymore. So no revenue for the company. So we were 2 months unemployed. And I thought, okay, I've got 2 months to think about something for myself. What do you like in companies? What you don't like? Just search for an idea. Just that topic just pop up in my head. I was like, there is never something in between fruits and junk food. So what can we do with that, And then I just did a BP, and then we started selling what we had, basically.
What's a BP? Sorry.
Business plan. Yeah. So we've got something that was very easy to start, actually. We don't need, but that's something we can also talk later. But we don't really need to do a lot of research and development to start what we were doing. We had something that was completely not perfect, but we could sell it. So we just continued.
Yeah, interesting. Okay. Sana, as mentioned, you've had a lot of success, but I'm interested to know what has been your biggest challenge. Maybe something that others wouldn't expect or that you didn't expect on your journey.
As an entrepreneur, I think we all share the same challenges. You have always to make sure that the business is growing, that you reach out to get more funding, to grow your operations, and all of that. But in addition to all of this, I have my own challenges as a woman entrepreneur, because it's not the same thing. When you go and you pitch your business, trust me, you would get first some very personal questions before asking you about your own business. And that's something that still happens to this day. Although women is quite, successful in Belgium and also abroad. But now I know how to kind of, manage it and handle it, and, use humor, because sometimes you kind of try to find a way to kind of, get to answer to this type of people. So humor is always a good way to do that. But also, when you run an initiative that is dedicated for women, you also get a lot of questions about that. And it always, surprises me that I get often this question, why a kind of, a network only for women? However, there is just Sakh Galwa here in Brussels. It's only for men. Women cannot even go to the bar if they are not, accompanied by a man. And this is Belgium, and this is Brussels, and this is 2023. And businessmen make the biggest business deals there. So maybe men need this kind of spaces, and maybe women need also this type of spaces. I mean, entrepreneurship and the ecosystem in general is quite male dominated in Belgium, and also, in the countries where we operate. And for you as a woman to make your place, you need to be equipped, you need to be empowered, you need to be supported, and boom, you go and you kind of go and conquer the space. So women do need this kind of spaces. So sometimes when we go and pitch to funders, they kind of get very kind of questionable, why only a network for women. And you have to do a lot of negotiation, you need to kind of also explain, you need to do a lot of education as well, to make sure that people do understand why women need safe spaces. Belgium has one of the lowest number of women entrepreneurs in Europe. That explains that there is a need for this type of spaces. So that I would say the challenge in terms of our work. But also the other challenge here in Belgium specifically is to kind of raise this mindset of entrepreneur and entrepreneurship in general. Belgium is not an entrepreneurial country. It's kind of more stable country where you have good salary, you have a good job. By the age of 30, you get a loan, you go and buy a house. By 35, you have kids, then you go to the ski, and then you go to the summer holidays in Greece, and life is good. I mean, I would say in Belgium, we kind of, we are educated in a way that we are comfortable with just a good life. But entrepreneurship is different. When you are an entrepreneur, you take risk every day. You have to innovate every day. You have to find solutions. You have to create. And basically, you're never settled. You're always hungry. And I think we don't have that mindset yet. Because also, like in Belgium, you don't take risks. I mean, you're successful when you go get a good education, good job, and all these steps. Get a house and have babies and all of that. So, unfortunately, I think that's why we don't have a lot of entrepreneurs. In addition to the fact that we have quite a system that doesn't help entrepreneurs when you look into the taxes. It's not very encouraging, I would say, for entrepreneurs to stay in Belgium. That's why we see a lot of brilliant entrepreneurs going abroad, to Canada, US, now Dubai, even Saudi Arabia now. So I think there is a need for us to captivate, these entrepreneurs, these great minds, and keep them here in Belgium. If we look into the future of not only Belgium but the whole universe, we're going to kind of have more entrepreneurs. We're going to have more freelancers, because basically the job market is changing every day. With the new technologies, we are witnessing a lot of jobs being disappearing because simply technologies are replacing humans in so many different sectors. So we need to make sure that we are prepared for that. What's going to happen 20 years from now when almost 10% of the world population will be jobless? How are we going to react to that? So I think the future will be people becoming their own entrepreneurs, creating their own jobs. So we need to make sure that we insert that mindset within the youth, especially the young generation, so they are prepared for the big challenge that is coming ahead.
Rudy and Florian, having a startup in Brussels, I can imagine that diversity is also a topic there. What is it that you do at Fika, or maybe see also at other companies in the city to encourage?
Yeah, I think first of all, promoting diversity is an ongoing process. So that's something where you need commitment on a daily basis. But if I can tell something what we do at Fika, one of our core values, I know it can sound like very simple, but that's respect. And whoever you are, what's your nationality, what's your religion, what's your sexual preferences as well. And that's something that we start teaching at the first interview with the candidates. So we feel directly if we're on the same line, and yeah, that's an ongoing process. And I've got a very good example actually with something I've seen on LinkedIn a few months ago with the campaign from Belfius. They had like huge billboards with 50 years old white men where it was written "We love entrepreneurs," and there was a guy called Marvin Ndiaye, the CEO of Fresheo. He actually mentioned that on LinkedIn, and it got viral. That just the people on the billboards were just like 50 years old white men, and that's it. And that's not that they're not even like entrepreneurs. They're just CEOs of big companies, you know. So they actually contacted him, and they changed the entire campaign billboards with women, with him, with other great entrepreneurs from Belgium. So that's why also I was saying like the it's easy to say respect. It's also easy to promote diversity in your company, but doing it for real, it's completely different thing.
I've been speaking to entrepreneurs every month now for almost a year. I haven't had one white guy who is 50 years old next to me, so it's not very representable indeed. And Rudy, I'm curious, what have been the biggest challenges for you and for Fika, and how have you overcome them?
Yes, we are still at early stage, so we have day-to-day challenges. I mean, the biggest challenge is selling, growing, having more traction, clients, turnover each month. I mean that's the biggest target and challenge that we have, and that's where you focus when you start your business. You know, because there are a lot of talks about oh you do this, oh you do that, but you need to sell. That's the challenge to acquire clients, and reliable clients. I mean, that stay, you know, you need to look at your lifetime value, you know, you have to clients, but they have to stay, they have to believe in you, in your service, in your offer. That's the first thing I would say. Second, funding, as we say, you need money. I mean, cash is king, you know, because you need to invest, but you need, for example, marketing, but marketing is not free. That's super expensive, to be honest. So you need funding, you need investor, you need business angel, except if you're born rich, you can. But most of the time when you start a business, you have no money. So sales, funding, also people. We strongly believe in people. So we have good story, bad story about people. But at the very early stage, everybody has to perform, has to be good, aligned with your value, your business, your goals, your targets. You have to be fully transparent, but that's also a challenge, you know, because when you have an interview to interview, we have only two interviewers, only two, so basically, but people can, let's say, fake it, you know, and when they're there, you realize that okay, maybe it's not the right person, but in Belgium, it's really hard to fire people. So, and it can be a disaster for a startup. when the first people you hire is not the people you think they were, you are in a bad situation because you're going to pay a lot to fire them. And that's a huge issues. Some startups just crash because of that, you know? And especially if you need people highly skilled, like engineer, information, IT guys, you know, yeah, for men or women, I mean, it's expensive. So I have another challenges, but so yeah, those three. Um, yes, funding people, I would say, and sales every day.
And is there a way that you've found a way to properly screen people to indeed not?
Yes, well, no, yes, and no. First, there is also skills. I mean, I think I do think that education is important. I know that there is a trend that it's a waste of time, blah blah blah. But if you look at unicorns in the world, they are funded by super educated people, also rich people maybe, but also super educated people. So there is skills. I mean, if you have an IT woman or IT guy or whatever, maybe it's good if he has a master degree or B code or something, but not, one guy say, okay, one day I code, for fun, this app. Okay, maybe that's a bit of bull beep, So first skills, second intuition, we are only four, so we need to get along with all together. So there's also a feeling, this guy, this woman, does he does he fit? Does she fit with the culture of Fika? That's also important because the other side, you can be the best in the world in your field, but if we don't like you, you don't like us, it's gonna be difficult, every day. So a bit of luck, I think. For example, if we talk about Mamadou, our first employee, first meeting, he was late. No, I think no. We had a meeting scheduled, but he was in Spain, like Salou or something. He was at the phone. No, I can't be here for like this month, maybe next month. Okay. It was like late the first meeting, and at the end of the day, he's just a super employee. He's just super great. He's our first employee, our first like CD, long term contract. We trust him, so a bit of luck also, but there is no magic or recipe, and even in big companies, they have like screenings and in rounds of interviews about, and I've been there, and they fail, so part of luck for sure.
Okay, thank you. So you've all, decided to start your startup in Brussels. There must be a reason for it, and what is it that other cities could learn from Brussels as a startup environment? Florian or Sana?
What other cities can learn from Brussels when it comes to startups? Oh no. I'm not sure if there are things they can learn. That's the problem. I think we have a lot of work to do here in Brussels, honestly. I think we need to, and this is the work that the kind of different actors in Belgium needs to make sure that they do, is to make sure that Brussels really become this hub of entrepreneurship, because we are the capital of Europe. We have all the institutions in here in Brussels, and Brussels is the second most diverse city in the world after Dubai. More than 100 languages are spoken in Brussels. This is a richness. This diversity is amazing. We need to captivate on it, and we need to capitalize it as well. So I think I wouldn't say that lessons to learn from Brussels, because I think we have a journey to kind of walk ourselves. But I just believe that Brussels can be a good hotspot for entrepreneurs in the future. I think with the right policies, with the right, legislation, we can attract talents all around Europe, but also abroad, to come and invest and establish businesses here. And I hope the investment scene would change also, because it's quite traditional here in Belgium. I mean, the tickets, the highest is 250K, so it's not too much, it's not big. So I think we need to kind of have this culture of investment as well, take the risk, invest in the young entrepreneurs, invest in Belgian startups. We have like really, really great ideas, great entrepreneurs with brilliant minds. So we need to invest in that.
Yeah, I can add maybe something on that. But I don't think it's a Brussels problem, it's a Belgian problem, or European problem, I don't know. But the educational system here is like, you go to school, if you succeed, then you will probably go to university. If you fail at school, then you probably work with your hands. And that's a very, very bad message to young generations. I think that we're missing a lot of potential genius in different fields. I would say for kids or teenagers, then they should try and taste different things and to just do what makes them happy in the end. And for the Brussels city, in terms of startups, it's a pretty small ecosystem. We kind of know everyone, heard about everyone. There's not much competition. We actually work a lot together between entrepreneurs. We support each other. We do partnerships, and there could be actually more competition. It's completely different than Paris, for example, where it's more like a jungle. Here we're not that many, and also, like you said, there's not many women entrepreneurs in Brussels. There are a lot of diversity from nationalities, so there are a lot of founders from different countries from the world, but not enough women indeed. But I have no idea why.
And also, Florian is right, but also you have to think that Belgium is a village. I'm born in Paris. If you take the market size of Paris, it's all Belgium. I mean, we say the question you say here in Brussels, the startup ecosystem. Yeah, but you are just close to Antwerp, for example. For Parisian, that's exactly the same. The same time to go to the first side of Paris, to the other side. So I mean, we should build also a Belgian ecosystem with top startups. Because that's the same. We are from Namur. That's 1 hour away. I mean, you go over Paris, from north to south. It's 1 hour by tram, metro, subway. So, I mean, also in Belgium, we are super, super attached to our own city. Leuven, Brussels, Nam. But I mean, that's a village. When you travel, you realize, that's a village. I think that's a mistake that we do. And for example, when we pitch for Brussels investors, but maybe they're investor, in all Belgium, So that's also, I think, a mistake that we do, and a lot of startups and businesses they think Belgium. Maybe we should be more like open and look to the other side at least.
Super. And let's get back to the other question as well. Sana, what do you think that we should be doing to facilitate more female entrepreneurship?
Many things. First of all, investing in women. It's the biggest problem in Belgium or abroad in Brussels, is like really investing in women. If you look into the investment scene, globally, women receive only 2% of investment, and they're usually quite smaller comparing to men. Although we do know that female entrepreneurs kind of study very well their business ideas, they're very careful. They're kind of taking the risk in very well thoughtful way. But however, they still receive the lowest kind of investment. So I think that's the first thing to do, is to actually facilitate financial support to women entrepreneurs. Not only investment on investment level, but even like banks and microfinance institutions, they need to make sure that they have a variety of products and financial products and financial services that women can actually access. That's one. Second, we need to stop kind of, saying to women, oh, go and establish a cookie business or a massage business. Women can invest in innovative industries. Like, let's not stereotype the businesses where women can actually invest in and create in. I think there are a lot of opportunities today in the tech and the digital field. You can create amazing businesses that, could go viral so quickly. So let's push women into the future industries. And that should have been done through education. The education system, as Florian mentioned, is very, very, very questionable here in Belgium. I mean, if you go to most of the universities here in Belgium, you don't have like courses on entrepreneurship. I do believe it should be a mandatory for any sector, not only for those who are studying economics and finances. It should be for everyone. For every branch, we need to have this course on entrepreneurs in order for us to prepare a generation of young people who are ready to actually establish businesses that they are already have been trained in universities and schools in general. We need also to kind of establish this mindset. We need to see more role models. We need to see more successful women entrepreneurs. Let's celebrate them. It might sound a cliche, okay, role models, we always talk about that, but no, it does play. I mean, imagine a young boy and a young girl, the image that they see, it could impact the way they see their future, the decision we make about their education or their work. So we need to do that. I mean, if you put a young boy and a young girl and you give a Barbie to the boy and you give a machine to the girl, trust me, that girl is going to become an engineer, or she would become, an Elon Musk, although I don't like to give that example, but that is true. And the boy could become, fast, kind of, a boy who's looking into spending his honeymoon in Greece and, fantasizing about, getting proposed to. So that does play, the mindset changes by the images we provide to the young people and especially kids, because we are at the end of the day product of society, and we do get influenced by what we see around us. So if I see more women being businesswomen, kind of taking the risk, I might be influenced by that, and I'll be like, okay, I want also to establish a business. Otherwise, it should take a lot of work on yourself, to examine yourself, to push yourself, to kind of create these challenges for you to actually be and become an entrepreneur. So I think we need to facilitate that in society. Like, let's celebrate people's success. Let's celebrate diversity. Let's make sure that we send out this message that you can be whatever you want. And, business and entrepreneurship could be a place for women as well. And then let's go to the different legislations here in Belgium. I mean, if you look into the social level, when you have kids, it's usually the responsibility of women. But I do believe that we make kids together, like men and women. It takes both, at least for now. Let's see what the future brings. So it should be a responsibility of both, because that's what we see at Womenpreneur. A lot of entrepreneurs coming to us, oh, I can't make it to that networking event because it's the evening. I need to go and collect my kids. Okay, are you going to collect your kids every day? I mean, you need to make sure a balance. Actually, even if you look at the entrepreneurs that we have here in Belgium, they become entrepreneurs because they couldn't make this balance between their work and their professional life. When they worked for a company, and they were like, okay, let's become an entrepreneur so that I can have that balance, so I can take care of the kids and then make my work, my business. But it doesn't work. I mean, entrepreneurship, requires time. It requires, you need to network, you need to meet people, you need to pitch, you need to go out there to get trained, you need to, to meet with suppliers, to meet with your clients. So it does take actually more time than having, like, I would say, a traditional normal job. So I was very frustrated with the legislation here in Belgium, especially after COVID, by basically facilitating support for women when it comes to kids. So, making sure that we have enough facilities for that. First of all, it's super expensive. Having kids is it's not cheap in Europe, especially in Belgium. I mean, it takes like almost 5,000 for one kid here in Belgium. Second, that doesn't solve the problem. I mean, I met with different political actors who told me, "Oh, we're doing this so to facilitate life for women." Excuse me, you're not facilitating life for women. It should be about parents. It should be about both the father and the mother. I mean, since when it's an issue of women only? It's an issue of the parents. So I think with that, it stigmatized that mindset and that stereotype. Ah, okay, as a woman, you have this type of responsibilities, and they're huge. I mean, taking care of the house, taking care of the kids, and then you can become an entrepreneur. So what is left for you to become an entrepreneur? Like almost nothing. That's why we have more of solo entrepreneurs as women here in Belgium. If you even look into the way female entrepreneurship started in Belgium, it started in 2008 with the financial crisis. So what happened is that Belgium, like most of the EU countries, had to cut down from the public budget. And basically that's where the sectors where we had more women. So then we end up with a lot of women without a job, and then it was very difficult to find a job easily. Then we've noticed a lot of women establishing, small projects, becoming independent, because actually even the definition of entrepreneur, we don't have it in the legislation here in Belgium. So they are solo entrepreneurs, they are survival entrepreneurs, just to have like an income by the end of the month to survive and feed the family. That's what we call entrepreneurship of necessity. And you cannot scale up with that. Entrepreneurship by choice is basically when you have like the successful entrepreneurs scaling up, going to different countries like Fika is doing today. So that's an entrepreneurship of choice. But when you decide to become an entrepreneur because you want to meet the needs of daily needs, then you have very low chances for you to scale up. So this is the reality of the female entrepreneurship scene here in Belgium. And yeah, this is one thing.
Yeah. Okay. And we've also mentioned we've talked about the image of entrepreneurs, and we've talked about education, having that opportunity to taste maybe entrepreneurship, or at least lots of different things. Are there other things, conditions or things that you think are necessary to encourage more young people to be an entrepreneur? Florian or Rudy?
So the question, what should we do, us, or I mean the government,
Yeah, either in
authorities?
society or indeed government or us
Okay,
ourselves.
first yeah, as Fran said, first maybe we should give a more entrepreneur mindset to our kids. For example, my son, I tell him all the time, you can do whatever you want. If you want to build something, if you want to achieve this goal, if you want to become also the CEO of that company, okay, that's fine, but you can also build your company and make a change from scratch. So first, that's a question of mindset more than skills. Also, maybe that's a bit also cliche, but less taxes. No, but to be honest, when you launch your business, the first thing they ask you, um, it's how much money cash you can put in it. When you first go to institutional, authorities, funding public companies, and that's just crazy. Because I mean, if you launch your business, most of the time you don't have money. So first, less taxes, more help. Just believe in young entrepreneurs. Don't ask for money before they sell their first offer, product, service. I would say that. Um, yeah, and so change the overall mindset. I would say, if I take my own experience and life, I know my father, my mother, my stepmother, they were all employees, and that's good, but they were okay. Uh, don't take too many risks. You have two master degrees. You you will be well. And when I changed, we found Fika. They were, are you crazy? Man, you had a super cool company car, and now what do you have? But it's a process. I mean, I see the end of the journey, and we also have make them understand, so kids, but also our parents, because also parents and friends are peer pressure to don't take risk, and to tell them, okay, that's a journey, and if you see the end, if you want to really succeed, you have to build your own company story, and you will be fine also.
Cool, thank you. So we talked a little bit about diversity and young entrepreneurship. Another topic that I know our audience is very interested in is product and service development. So Florian, you mentioned earlier already about research and development. How did Fika develop its products and the pricing? Has the offering changed with time or with different markets?
That's actually very easy. We just launched a product, we try to sell it, and we do it again and again, and that's what we actually did. There was
we had a VP at very first.
yeah. So what was the rest of the question? Sorry.
So how have you developed the product and the pricing, and has the offering changed either over time or with different markets and expansion?
So at first we had just one offer with individual packed snacks, because that was just post-COVID. So, people were a bit scared of hygiene and stuff like that. So we just try to launch new offers regarding the feedbacks we get from our clients. So that's really our foot for changement and development. For example, we just 6 months ago we launched our bulk offer, because people are starting forgetting the COVID, so now they want also less packaging, which I understand. So we just looking at the feedbacks, and we're developing new offers. Yeah, time after time.
And really, the snack market, I can imagine, is, I don't know, quite competitive. Although you said there was nothing between fruit or junk food, but how have you had to educate the market as to your products and why they should be investing them, or did you have to explain what's unique about it? How have you solved it?
Yes, good question, because that's a question that we get a lot. It's why competitive big actors that we all know for years and years. But first, every market is competitive. Everything exists. I mean, but and just when you get this question, just answer that. A lot of investors and business angels, they say, yeah, but it does exist. Yes, like everything. I mean, you can invent something. That's quite rare. I mean, most of the time you improve stuff. And so when you look at the snacking industry, that's just old, very old-fashioned, that the same snacks, the same actors for 20 years, now in the same kind of vending machines. So we were okay, just be fresh, change a bit. So now what we want to push is local producers, healthy and top quality snacks, local or fair trade, no additive, no sugar, natural sugar. And even that's a big change, because if you look at the the sticker behind your bar, just try to understand the nutritional information. Okay, that's only Afouaiz. I will say maybe not the English, but in French, it's E45, E46, E blah 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 blah. That's just cheap. That's just chemicals. That's just bad for your health. Additive, yes, most of them are additives, but chemical additives, and so yes, we just want to reinvent a bit this industry, but also you have habits, and so part of the marketing, but Florian can tell a word about that, is to educate and make people understand that maybe they can change a bit. True story, for example, we were close to have a deal with let's say a big company, and they learned that we have now a beverage that everybody know, a black beverage, and black and red, and they said no, stop, because for our employees we need this drink. We were okay, but maybe we have the same, but natural and Belgian. So we need to educate a bit the market, but also, yes, there is also something really important. I have a saying, cash is king, but who has the cash? Your client. So the value is in the eyes of your clients. So be careful. You can educate, for us, for example, companies, you can educate people, educate the market, but it takes time, it takes money. So sometimes you have to be, let's say, balance. You cannot change the world. It's also a process. You need to go bigger, more known, and stuff. But no, that's how we work. We believe in our product. We believe we do right, and people believe.
Okay, thank you. And Sana, for you, how have you developed the services of Womenpreneur? How did you make sure that there was a good market and product service fit?
I mean, we basically what we are providing is very different comparing to Fika. We are an organization. We train women. So basically, our target is women who don't have an easy access, and usually they are women from marginalized backgrounds. And what we do is we get funding. That's our business model. We get funding and sponsorship from different tech companies, and we are funded by the government of Belgium and also the government of Germany. And what we do is we kind of, identify the needs first. We need to understand the needs of these women, especially when we talk about tech education. I mean, if you kind of, have a cybersecurity training, you will have very few women attending it. So it took us time to actually, first of all, identify the needs of these women, create the awareness that it is important, it's interesting, that you can find a job, that you can have a good salary, understand, the requirements for women to take part of such a training, and then, make sure that they actually stay in this type of business. That's also a lot of work. And I think, I mean, we exist for 6 years now, so our understanding of these needs have been shifted as well. So today we kind of, before establishing any, I would say, program, we first send out surveys with our identified target group, and that helps us a lot. The feedback helps us a lot to kind of make sure that the program are tailored, based on these needs. And as I mentioned earlier, when it comes to entrepreneurship programs, we had to change. Before, we used to do a lot of events, a lot of incubation programs. Today, we're focusing more on activities that will bring money to women. So through the markets that we organize, I mean, last year we had more than 2,000 clients coming buying from these women. So to have a woman who managed to sell, like, and get 5,000 euro for one day, that was like really huge for a lot of vendors. So that works very well, and it helps these women to get, good money, get visibility, be exposed in some of the most vibrant neighborhoods in Brussels. That's one. The second is the e-shop space. It's basically a market space for women. There are a lot of women who don't have website, or they don't have, an e-shop where people can buy from their products, although they have like very, very nice and amazing products and services. So basically, this came with the markets. We felt like, okay, there is a need. So basically, what we developed is this marketplace for women who don't have an e-shop. They can basically create an e-shop that is provided by our platform, and with that, they can basically expose their product virtually, and then all our communities and also like different clients who are looking for a specific product, they can find it there. They buy from these women. They support a business run by women, so supporting diverse businesses, but also kind of, getting this visibility and creating this solidarity in society. So this is basically the way we work here in Belgium. Now in the other countries it's very different. In the MENA region, we are more focused on entrepreneurship, because we have already established entrepreneurs, but they work in informal markets, informal ecosystem. So the work is very different. Like, it's more kind of, challenging, because here in Belgium you have a structure, it's easy to identify. In the region there is a lot of innovations out there, But then, you know, you need to make sure that these women do the business and get money, but in structured way, in legal way. And like, I'll give you an example. In Egypt, for instance, I was there in February. The way people in general sell is not through website, it's not through an online platform, it's through WhatsApp. And that's amazing. This is the way they make business. This is the way they make money. And you find like every entrepreneur has three phones. And basically WhatsApp doesn't stop, you know, the notifications don't stop. And this is the way they make, you know, they make their business running. And it's amazing. But you know, you have to understand it and then say, okay, how can I capitalize on that and make sure that women can actually grow their businesses with, you know, the culture, the mindset that they have locally. So and that's very, very amazing. Like for our work, we, as we say in French, on change pas. Like we have always like new challenge, new thing to learn from, and a new way to deliver support to women.
Yeah, that is indeed very challenging, very adaptive then of your services on depending on each market independently. I'm a bit wary of the time, so I want to give opportunity to go over to questions from audiences online and here. I'll just have a quick look up here what the questions from the audience online. Sana, does your starting idea, an image of business, match with the present womenpreneur? Did anything make a big change in how you see the future? So yeah, how does the image of womenpreneur now compared to the image that you had for it when you started out?
When I started Womenpreneur, we started with 10 women. So I didn't imagine that we would reach this number of women. So obviously, indeed, there was this evolution there and this growth. And I mean, I think for every entrepreneur, you start with an idea, but the idea grows as well. You know, look at, you know, Facebook, for instance. I mean, every day we have a new features, although they have a lot of work to do still on the platform. But also at the same time, you see like new innovation every day. And especially with today's world, I mean, we live in evolving societies. And also it's very difficult to actually understand the consumer behavior because a lot is provided there. So the consumers, they want more. And you have to kind of, you know, amaze them every time. So obviously, Womanpreneur has evolved with the time, and I think that's also the case of different businesses. And entrepreneurs need to have that in mind, that you need to make sure that you should never settle. I mean, look at the example of Nokia. You know, Nokia, I mean, the phone is amazing. I mean, it still works. I don't know if you have it, I have it. It's amazing. You know, it still works. But however, because this stopped, you know, innovating, then, you know, iPhone, you know, just came over and changed the market. And that's what the CEO said when, you know, they had to sell the company, is that we didn't do anything wrong. We just didn't innovate, you know. We didn't kind of, you know, challenge ourselves. So definitely you have to keep challenging. As I said, being an entrepreneur, that means that you should never be settled. You are unsettled, uncomfortable, and always hungry. So yeah.
That's a good envision for entrepreneurs. Fika, what is your biggest fear for your company?
Thank you, Elodie, for the question. I think the biggest fear would be that so culture is a very important point of a company because your human capital is your first ambassador. So if your people don't feel the company, they won't sell it good. They won't be good ambassadors. So I think that if there's no trust, there's no communication, there's no transparency, if it's a toxic environment and you feel that people are not happy coming to the office every morning, then you have a problem, which is the biggest, I think, and so my biggest fear as well. Yeah, human capital is the biggest asset for a company, so that's my biggest fear.
Okay. From Naman, what are the key skills, according to the panel, a founder must have to solve day-to-day challenges in a startup? And what are the common challenges that the panel see in running a startup? I think we've mentioned a lot of the challenges, but yeah, so what are the skills that founders or entrepreneurs should have to solve these challenges?
You want to say? I've got one if you want. Okay, I've got one, and you
Maybe
can.
we have the same, so
What's yours?
solution oriented.
No, I thought being quick in execution. So every time you have a problem, every time you need to fix something, then you need to do it very quickly. So execution is for me the most important on a daily basis because that's the question. Yeah.
And solution oriented. Yes. Sana.
For me, it's determination. When I started Womenpreneur, when I pitched, I remember one of the investors told me, like, I don't think it's gonna be successful. And I keep saying, like, I am Moroccan. I was born in Morocco. I am an immigrant in this country, and I managed to create something because the only thing that I think I have is I'm determined. And I like, when someone says you're not gonna make it, I make sure that I do it. So it's all about determination.
Lovely. Great. Okay. Can we scroll down to the next question? Did the panel have any support from organizations such as Hub Brussels when starting? Yeah, any support that you guys got that you could recommend to other people starting out?
Yeah, if you're in Brussels, then for sure have Brussels to get free consultancy. I would say free help. That would be the first step for any question. Then if you talk about financial support, then there are a lot of there are few way to get a I don't know how to say it subsidies for different projects you're doing with your company, and then there is also other organization in Brussels to help you raise funds, such as Finance Brussels, who actually helped us to raise funds 1 year ago. But I would go for sure to Hub Brussels first. That's the best example.
Okay. For me, every time a woman find a job or she established a business, for us, yes, we made it. That's good. That's the impact. But like the deeper impact for us is when a woman realizes the power that she has.
Yeah, very good examples. But our mission is really to make workspaces healthier and to also change habits into people. And we see that since with client, we got feedbacks that they see changement in habits in terms of eating at the office. So we see that we also having an impact on that next to the company changement. So also for people themselves. So yeah, we see that.
Nice. That gives motivation to keep going. All right. And the last question, do you think it's possible to start and run a business abroad successfully? And if yes, what are the recommendations? Well, Sana's clearly done that. What are the recommendations for it, Sana, to go abroad with your business?
Determination once again, but also you need to know the market where you are going to establish your business in. It's very important you understand it. Third, speak the language. It's very important. Like we have done some projects in the Flanders. I don't speak Flemish, and although like you can have consultants, you can have people working for you, but it's not the same thing if you don't speak the language. So I do get frustrated because of that. I'm trying also to learn Flemish, but not easy. So yeah.
Okay, and Florian, for you guys, because you expanded to Luxembourg and France now, is it also for those reasons that you speak the language, you know the market, or are there other reasons?
Yeah, doing business with different countries than Belgium, yeah, it's a bit different for sure. People are reacting differently the way you sell them stuff. Like in Germany, it's way different than in Belgium, for example. But yeah, for the language, Luxembourg and France is also French speaking. But I agree a bit less with the language problem, because indeed, if you have like the good mindset, a good determination about if you believe in what you do, then language shouldn't be a problem if at least you guys speak together English, you know. That's why I'm trying to do when I sell to people that doesn't speak my mother language as well. But yeah, if I think English is okay for Belgium. Depends where you are, but I think that's enough.
As you said, customer is king, so you have to understand their culture. Sorry? And queen, yes. Okay, I think that's enough for online. In here in the audience, are there any questions still remaining that you'd like to ask the panel? Yes. I'm just going to repeat it for the people following online. So it's the question is how the diversity and men and women issue is very much perceived as a she problem. So how can we change it to it's actually a we problem? Sana.
I'll give you an example from Syria. Before the Arab Spring, women in Syria were not allowed to basically work in all sectors. They had like specific fields where they can work, like especially like being a teacher or being a lawyer. Arab Spring happened, the civil war happened. A lot of men migrated to Europe. A lot of them died because of the war, and then women end up being the majority in Syria because within migrants, it's usually more men who migrate than women. Women stay in the countries and try to deal with the crisis. So that was like, okay, the opportunity for women to become entrepreneurs. And it was within that we've seen female entrepreneurs in Syria and women, Syrian women working in different fields. So unfortunately, I don't want to say that crisis would push or poverty would push into understanding that, we need women in the entrepreneurship sector because we need everyone to work. But I think what's going to happen here in Europe, but also abroad, is that because of the changes happening in the job market, and because we're going to end up with a lot of people who don't have jobs, we're going to kind of, consider the issue differently and be like, okay, we need to make sure that Belgians, people living in Belgium, are working. And then it's no longer going to be a gender issue, it's going to be a society issue. But as Womenpreneur, our work is to raise the awareness among the politicians, the institutions, society in general, and universities to say like, okay, let's wake up. Let's not make the same mistake as we've done in 1950, when we had the only way for us to push women to work, it was positive discrimination. To be honest with you, I don't want that. Women are brilliant, are talented, are intelligent as the rest of the society. We don't need to kind of always push into positive discrimination in order to create this equality in the job market. So that's our daily struggle, but yeah, we're trying our best and we are doing the job to push and, being les grandes gueules, comme on dit en français.
Lovely, thank you. Any other question here in the live audience? Yes. So which network or networking events do you recommend going to as a startup founder?
I would say first that work with yourself. I mean, just work with your network first. For example, if I take my example, I believe a lot into personal branding. Every person that I meet, talk, discuss, whatever I do with them, I add them on LinkedIn, and then I also share a lot of knowledge about myself, about my business on LinkedIn. And then you get your network just bigger. You get known for different things. You become to be an expert, as she's in her field. So I think we shouldn't be. I'm not doing so many networks events. We do it, but we don't really search for it. I think it's more about your personal branding and how you spread your identity and your mission and everything around it.
Sana, do you have any?
LinkedIn is a really good platform. I love LinkedIn. It's an amazing platform. Indeed, sharing a picture, sharing an image is very important. You need to be present online. Today, if you don't communicate, you don't exist. And also, like, as especially if you are an entrepreneur, you sell products or services, you need to kind of, show to the consumer that you use those products yourselves. It's the kind of, the trust that you create with your client, with your consumers, with your potential clients. Now, events, it's very important at the beginning. You need to create your network, because your network, is your net worth, honestly. So make sure that you go to events at the beginning. Make sure that you kind of, be in touch with key people, because it's very important to understand that to succeed a business, you need people. It's still, although we are in the digital field, digital kind of, world, but still, human connections are super important for you to have a presence in the market. So make sure that you go to the events. There are so many events happening here in Belgium. You go with Bicentral, you have so many events with Hub Brussels, with 1819. You have different institutions like MicroStart, Credal, Womenpreneur, and other institutions out there that, usually their events are for free. You can participate, it doesn't cost anything. You kind of, give your business cards. Make sure that when you go to an event, you need to know who are the speakers. Maybe there is an investor there. Maybe there is like a big journalist who's going, to write a piece about you. So don't not underestimate, that work that you can do at the beginning just to create this network. And make sure that you add people on social media. Make sure that you follow up when you meet someone, gives you a business card. The following day, you write an email. The following day, you kind of, ask for a meeting. You need to make sure that not only that you kind of, meet people and you add them in your network, but make sure that you keep the contact. It's very important. Don't underestimate, inviting someone for a coffee. It will cost you €5, but trust me, in the future, it will bring you a lot. So that would be my advice.
Okay, no more questions here or online. So I want to thank everybody that joined here live online. I want to thank our panel of speakers. Thank you so much for coming here today. Thank you, EEBIC, for the location. We are also organizing a networking event, the first edition of StartUP Social Club on the 27th of April. It's an after-work networking party that brings together startup founders and young entrepreneurs with potential investors to create valuable new partnerships. It's going to be a fun night with games, drinks, snacks, DJ in the heart of Brussels. Snacks. We'll talk after this. And it's going to be at B Central. So you can sign up through our website or our Eventbrite page to get your tickets. Catch us again next month for another episode of Startup Stories on May 15th. Thank you very much and have a great day.